Hello and welcome everyone. I am Tremaine Wright, the chair of the Cannabis Control Board. Recognizing that we have all members present, with board members Ruben McDaniel and Adam Perry attending remotely. I am pleased to call to order the fourth meeting of the Cannabis Control Board and to welcome all of you who are participating via real-time live stream. As we have previously stated, it is our hope that in the near future, we will be able to safely have these meetings in person. But for now, we will continue to invite the public to attend remotely to protect the health and safety of all participants. As always, this meeting will be recorded and the recording and transcript will be available available to the public on the website of the Office of Cannabis Management. Cannabis, and you can find that at cannabis.ny.gov. Please note there's a designated section on the website where information on Cannabis Control Board meetings, past and present, is available. Today's agenda will include some welcome and brief remarks from myself, a review and approval of the meeting minutes from the Cannabis Control Board meeting held on November 3rd, consideration of change of ownership of one of the registered organizations in the medical cannabis program, which was previously pending before the Department of Health, consideration of proposed amendments to the cannabinoid hemp regulations, consideration of a resolution authorizing the Office of Cannabis Management to find temporary and long-term space in New York City and the City of Buffalo, consideration of key employment items, a report from the Office of Cannabis Management's Executive Director, Chris Alexander, an announcement about the next Cannabis Control Board meeting, and then we will adjourn. So let's get started with our fourth board meeting, and most likely our last meeting of 2021. The Cannabis Control Board, together with the Office of Cannabis Management, is committed to making up for lost time caused by the delay in leadership appointments to the CCB. To that end, I'd like to provide you with updates on a few of our priorities: increasing office capacity, implementing the requirements laid out in the Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act, and continuing our outreach to the public and key stakeholders in the community. First, as it relates to increasing the capacity of the Office of Cannabis Management, we have been working collaboratively with other essential state agencies to recruit staff for the many positions which we must fill in order to do the work of the OCM. Thank you to our partners, our sister state agencies who are assisting with advertising, HR, personnel matters, and technical support. As we onboard employees, we are eagerly beginning the process of getting them primed and ready to tackle the important work in front of us. In furtherance of our goals, I would like to announce that job opportunities at the Office of Cannabis Management are now being posted to the website at cannabis.ny.gov. Search for the career tabs at the bottom of the page and for more information on recent job postings. This information will be updated on a rolling basis, so please remember to check back periodically for updates. Next, under the umbrella of implementing the law, the Office of Cannabis Management has begun processing licenses for the cannabinoid hemp program. Earlier this month, the office launched an enhanced web-based portal, which we hope will make it easier to file and update applications for retailers, processors, manufacturers, and distributors seeking to participate in the cannabinoid hemp program. As a reminder, all businesses manufacturing or selling cannabinoid hemp products, or CBDs, are required to obtain a cannabinoid hemp license from the Office of Cannabis Management before they begin. Let me start that again. As a reminder, all businesses are manufacturing or selling cannabinoid hemp products are required to obtain a cannabinoid hemp license from the office before manufacturing or selling hemp products to consumers. Businesses who are already manufacturing and selling these products should submit an application immediately. Businesses who have already submitted the required application information do not need to take further action at this time. Next, I'd like to remind everyone the local opt-out deadline of December 31st is quickly approaching. Localities are reminded that we have opened a portal on the OCM website to make it easier for them to submit their local laws, opting out of host and licensees for dispensaries and on-site consumption. Any locality that passes an opt-out law must file their law with the Cannabis Control Board, and all submissions must be made using the portal on the OCM website. Later in this meeting, Executive Director Chris Alexander will provide an update on the number of localities that have elected to opt out. We continue to support the growth and expansion of the state's medical cannabis program. Our goal is to support responsible growth while maintaining continuity of care and a seamless transition for patients from the Department of Health to the Office of Cannabis Management. We previously implemented programmatic expansions to the medical program, including the availability of whole flower medical products. Well, we are pleased to announce that whole flower medical products are now available at most medical dispensing facilities. And lastly, we continue to engage with stakeholders to observe best practices, take note of lessons learned, and hear firsthand the concerns of New Yorkers. In an effort to glean operational insights, I traveled to Quebec City, Quebec, to meet with their cannabis regulatory officials, which provided a wealth of knowledge on their experiences regulating and operating cannabis businesses, as well as protecting public health and safety. To provide some background, Canada was the second country in the world to formally legalize possession and use of cannabis in 2018. The ability to learn lessons from states and countries that have legalized cannabis before us is invaluable, and I look forward to meeting with additional regulators and industry experts. I also had opportunity to join board member Metzger in presenting to and conversing with Black Farmers United, and I participated in the On the Revel conference in New York City alongside board members Metzger and McDaniel. Additionally, I spoke at the Cranes Business Forum on recreational cannabis. My experience at these events have left me excited about the ingenuity you see in the industry, and excited about the possibility of what's to come in New York State. Switching gears to a matter of procedure, the first order of business is the review and approval of the meeting minutes from the November 3rd Cannabis Control Board meeting, which was held in New York City. However, before we move much further into today's proceedings, I need to make some brief remarks about the open meetings law. As stated at every board meeting, the Cannabis Control Board is subject to the open meetings law, which is intended to ensure the greatest level of transparency and public participation in the affairs of the government. Due to the ongoing pandemic, we have requested that members of the public join us via video conference, which we will continue to offer to keep the public and members of this body safe. Now I'll read a brief statement on open meetings law into the record. Pursuant to Chapter 417 of the Laws of 2021, enacted on September 2nd, 2021, board members may fully participate in meetings via video conference from locations that are not open to the public, provided that the public has the ability to view or listen to such proceedings, and the meetings are recorded and later transcribed. The new law sunsets on January 15, 2022. The public has been provided with information on how to access this meeting within the public meeting notice that was distributed to members of the press and posted on the OCM website. A recording of this meeting, together with the transcript, will also be available on the OCM website. Previous recordings, meeting minutes, and transcripts are archived on the OCM website as well. Please note, there is a designated tab on the website entitled Board Meetings, which provides access to all of this information. I move to bring the approval of the November 3rd board meeting minutes to a vote. Is there any discussion?
So
Hearing
moved.
none. May I have the
So moved.
May I have a motion?
Seconded.
Okay. It has been properly moved and second. The meeting minutes from the November 3rd board meeting are approved. The next order of business is consideration of the Medical Cannabis Program Resolution 2021-09, which is the conditional approval of the change in ownership of registered organization MedMen New York Incorporated. Do we have any recusals for this matter?
Madam Chair, I'm recusing myself from deliberating and voting on this specific matter due to the potential conflict of interest, appearance of a conflict of interest. And I do so without prejudice to future decisions that involve applicants that have the legally required labor peace agreements pending consultation with counsel. So I will remove myself from the meeting at this point and await to be called in after the vote. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Well, pursuant to the Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act, the board has the authority to approve pending actions which were before the Department of Health. One of these actions is a change of ownership in registered organization MedMen New York Incorporated. The resolution in front of the board today serves to conditionally approve the change in ownership pending the review of the proposed transaction by OCM staff for compliance with the cannabis law and its corresponding rules and regulations. Additionally, the board is directing the office to make it a condition of approval that the registered organization continue current operations to maintain patient access and supply beyond the change in ownership. I now move to bring resolution number 2021-09, conditional approval of the change in ownership of registered organization MedMen New York Incorporated to a vote. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, may I have a motion to accept the resolution before us?
I move approval.
It is all, it has been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 None opposed and okay, and no abstentions. Resolution number 2021-09, the resolution the conditional approval of the change in ownership of registered organization MedMen New York Incorporated has been passed.
We can grab it. Board member.
Yes, please do. Sorry about that. Thank you. So we're just going to have Board Member Garcia return, and then we'll go on to the next item before us. Thanks. Okay. During the November 3rd board meeting, we heard from Board Member Metzger about the history and development of the cannabinoid hemp program in New York State and adopted the program's regulations, which are now officially effective. At that time, she also described changes to the regulation that the office was working on. I would now like to invite Board Member Metzger to provide an overview of those amendments to the regulations. These amendments will be presented to the board today for a vote on whether these changes should be issued for public comment. Board Member Metzger.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good afternoon, all. As was mentioned at our last meeting, we are taking up today additional changes to the cannabinoid hemp regulations for public review and comment. The proposed changes were the result of feedback from previous public comment periods as well as stakeholder discussion. I outlined those regulatory updates for last meeting, and a number of these are listed on the slide. I just want to highlight a few of the changes which are intended to create new value-added opportunities for farmers and also empower New Yorkers to make informed choices in the CBD marketplace. One of these is the proposed license for a cannabinoid hemp farm processor. This new license type would make it easier for licensed hemp farmers in New York State to manufacture and sell their own flower products to retailers or sell those products themselves if they have a retail license. It is a pared down version of the other processor license types with lower application and license fees. It's also our hope that this license will reduce barriers and make it more affordable for New York State hemp growers to undertake value-added activities and make their own products. Secondly, I'd like to highlight proposed language that would define the meaning of craft when it is used for labeling and marketing purposes. Craft products generally have grown in popularity. The craft beverage industry is a case in point. And the term is often used in marketing for that reason. It's important to have a definition for craft cannabis products so that consumers can be assured that they are getting a truly artisanal product. It is also our hope that by establishing the criteria for using this term in labeling and marketing, we'll encourage participation in the market by small, sustainable craft farmers and help these businesses distinguish themselves in the marketplace. We're very eager to get public feedback on the proposed definition. And down the road, we'll want to consider a craft cannabis definition for the adult use program, which would also be valuable to small legacy businesses. Other proposed changes for consideration today include increasing the allowable THC concentration in intermediate products from 3 to 5%, increasing the per serving milligram cap for dietary supplement products to 100 milligrams, removing the requirement that cannabinoid hemp products be shelf stable, and several changes to labeling requirements. The full text of the proposed regulations is available for viewing on cannabis.ny.gov website, and we look forward to reading your comments. I want to note that we can anticipate additional changes in the future as we develop the adult use program to ensure consistency across cannabis programs in New York State. For instance, where it makes sense to do so, we will look at we will look to harmonize testing limits for contaminants across cannabis programs. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Excellent. Thank you, Jen, for that comprehensive overview. At this time, I move to bring resolution number 2021-10, resolution to authorize the Office of Cannabis Management to file amendments to the cannabinoid hemp regulations for public comment to a vote. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, may I have a motion to accept the resolution before us? It's been first and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? No abstentions? Resolution to direct the Office of Cannabis Management to file amendments to the cannabinoid hemp regulations for public comment passes. Please continue to monitor the OCM website for more updates. Next order of business is to discuss temporary office space for OCM in New York City. The resolution before the board would authorize the Office of Cannabis Management to find temporary office space in New York City following all applicable fiscal and budgetary rules and procedures. Further, the resolution contains language which directs the office to begin negotiations for long-term office space solutions in both New York City and Buffalo. Pursuant to the MRTA, the Cannabis Control Board and the OCM must have its principal office in Albany and maintain branch offices in the cities of New York and Buffalo and any other places as the board deems necessary. I move to amend resolution number 2021-11 to read as follows. Resolution to authorize the Executive Director of the Office of Cannabis Management to enter into a memorandum of understanding or lease agreement for temporary office space in the building located at 250 Broadway in New York City and direct the office to begin negotiations to find a long-term office space solution in both New York City and Buffalo.
Madam Chair,
I move to bring this. Yes?
just one quick question. Just for information purposes, can you give us kind of the general expectation for how many employees will be in New York City and in Buffalo ultimately?
We do not have a firm count on Buffalo yet, do we? But 70 in New York City, is that correct?
That is correct. We'll be around, Board Member McDaniel, we'll be around 70 to 80 employees in New York City within coming months, and then approximately 40 or so in Buffalo within coming months, and working to establish a home base office space is crucial to make sure we can have capacity for those individuals.
Wonderful.
And,
Thank you very much. I move approval.
Madam Chair, oh, and well, I'll wait for a second before my question.
I'm sorry, it was a little muffled. What was the question again, Ruben?
Member
No, I'll
McDaniel
second. He was
moved.
waiting for a second.
Oh, he moved to pass it,
I'll second.
and it's been seconded. Sorry,
Now I have a
we
question.
recognize Member Perry. Yes.
Thank you. So what we're approving staff to do is to locate space and then bring that to us for approval. We're not authorizing staff to actually enter into new leases, to find space and enter into new leases. This is for them to find staff and bring that to us for our approval. Is that correct?
For the location in New York City, we are authorizing them to enter into the short-term lease and/or memorandum of understanding for the space located at 250 Broadway in Manhattan. For the long-term leases, we are authorizing staff to begin negotiations to identify potential locations and to thereafter bring back any transaction to the board for approval.
Very well. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I move to bring the amended resolution number 2021-11 to a vote. And it's already been first and moved. I'm sorry, it has been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 There are no opposition and no abstentions. Therefore, resolution number 2021-11 as amended has been passed. Moving on to employment matters. During each of our board meetings, we have appointed staff to the Office of Cannabis Management. The rolling appointments are part of our effort to ensure we maintain momentum and hire staff who can do this important work. New today, the Office of Cannabis Management has added employment and recruitment information to the cannabis.ny.gov site. It is pictured here. I believe it is pictured for those of you who are following at home. Yes. On the slide, if you look to the bottom of the page. Additionally, board members, before you today is a packet of potential hires for key positions in the Office of Cannabis Management. These candidates have been recommended by the Executive Director, and their resumes and bios have been shared with you ahead of this meeting. I move to bring resolution number 2021-12, approval of Office of Cannabis Management Executive Director staffing recommendations to a vote. Any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Hearing none, Madam. Yes, sir.
I know I sound like a broken record, but good music needs to be played over and over again. I've had a chance to meet some of our current hires that we brought on since the last time. They've all been excellent, and I just want to congratulate you and Chris and the staff on great recruitments. It's been fantastic.
Thank you. And thank you. That's right. It's a testament to the staff here. This is a wonderful group that has assembled here for the OCM and to do the work of cannabis in New York State. They're very much committed. So thank you for those comments. So I guess without further ado, I bring the motion before us. May I have a motion to accept the resolution before us?
So moved.
The motion.
It's been
I'll second.
first and moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 No opposition and no abstentions. Therefore, resolution number 2021-12, approval of the Office of Cannabis Management Executive Director staffing recommendation passes. Now we will hear from our Executive Director, Chris Alexander, with key updates in his Executive Director report. Chris?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good afternoon all, and to you all tuning in from home. We thank you for joining us again. My first update today is to provide a check-in with respect to the municipal opt-out. As you all know, the deadline, and as the chair has stated, the deadline is on December 31st. This is set in the MRTA, and I would like to provide some context as to why the legislation included a deadline. This was done to help set the stage for where adult use dispensaries and on-site consumption licenses can locate. If a municipality could opt out at any time, it could have created instances where businesses received a license and set up operations in a municipality only to find out that the municipality later voted to prohibit this activity. And so that was the justification for this order of operations. Additionally, it should be noted that municipalities who opt out may opt back in at any time. As of December 15th, 2021, the Office of Cannabis Management has received opt-out requests from 365 municipalities in New York State, representing approximately 24% of all municipalities. This includes 10% of all cities, 28% of all towns, and 19% of all villages. These numbers are relatively consistent with the experience of other states, and we expect them to increase a bit as we get to December 31st. To support the expeditious implementation of adult use licensing, OCM has requested towns, villages, and cities submit their municipal opt-out statute at cannabis.ny.gov/local-government. Thank you to those who have already done so. Following the December 31st, 2021 deadline, the OCM will make a list available of all municipalities who have opted out of one or more adult use license types. Moving on. The office is working expeditiously to implement changes directed in the MRTA to expand the medical program. These changes require systems updates to the patient registration and certification system, and we are working on making them currently. We are using this as an opportunity to notify patients and practitioners that you should expect to see these changes in the program, and we will keep you notified throughout the process. Reminder, all current patient, caregiver, and practitioner registrations issued via the Department of Health will remain valid and in effect under the Office of Cannabis Management. In addition, the requirements of Part 1004 of the medical marijuana regulations remain in effect and enforceable even now as the OCM has taken control of the program. A notice to patients when the new system is implemented. When your certification expires, your new patient ID card will have OCM branding. Lastly, I would like to provide one more update from the office. We've recently issued an RFP for a new cannabis tracking and seed to sale system. The system will track cannabis from every licensee, providing oversight from batch to batch and from seedling to finished product. Seed to sale systems help mitigate diversion or inversion of cannabis products, assist with product recalls, and more targeted inspections. More information about the RFP proposals on New York State's procurement website under RFP 2474, Cannabis Seed to Sale Tracking System. Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you, Chris, for that great update, and to the medical program staff for their work to ensure a seamless transition and a purposeful expansion of the medical program here in New York State. Thank you. Please note that the time, location, and a live stream link will be shared on cannabis.ny.gov in advance of the next Cannabis Control Board meeting. A recording of today's meeting minutes, and a transcription will be posted as well. And that concludes today's agenda items. Thank you for all your participation. We may now adjourn.
Thank you, Madam Chair.